How are you? My name is Michelle Connor. I'm your VCS for Living Environment. Today we're going to be looking at how to write a good email. Now this is tricky. It's important when you're writing an email that there's a professional way to write an email, as if you're talking to a boss or someone you're interviewing for, versus how you would send an email to your friend or your family member. With everything being remote right now, this is a really important skill, which is why we planned it into the performance task for this unit. Now, built into this lesson, we have some great options for best practices for writing emails. So there's a bunch right here. Some of my favorite ones was the Forbes and the Indeed. So once you click on these blue links, they will open you up into obviously a different website. And each of these websites go over different aspects of writing a good email. So when you're writing a good email, it's important to look at the different components. So first is the subject line. The subject line is really important. It captures the reader's attention and also should give some hint as to what's going on in the email. Sometimes if it's a work email that's really important, it's good to put like urgent, something like that to get the attention of the reader in order to get them to open the email. So that's always an option. But if it's not urgent and you don't need them to open it right away, you're just looking for your subject line to give them some idea about what the email is going to be about. Number two, there should always be a greeting. And now your greeting, of course, will depend on who you're speaking to. If it's someone you don't know their name, to whom it may concern, Mr. or Mrs. with their last name to be more professional. If it's a coworker, a first name is usually fine. And again, this is different than your usual friend greeting. Now, this is a more professional greeting, so it's important that we don't see, those hey, a lot of exclamation points. This is just nice and simple. There should always be like a greeting. The third piece is the body. Now, the body should be short and to the point, but informative. It's important that if you're writing a professional email, you'll notice that there may not necessarily be indents for paragraphs, but there is a separation of ideas to keep it simple and easy to read, as well as proper punctuation and capitalization. Now, this is really important. You don't want to ramble on when you're writing an email. You want to get right to the point. You're not looking for extra fluff. You're not looking to fill in the word count. You're simply looking to get your message across. The fourth thing is a closing. It's always good to have a closing when you're writing an email. Again, depending upon how professional your email needs to be, you'll always have a closing. And then 5 is a signature. Now, you can actually set up a signature in your email, so no matter what email you write, it will automatically place your signature. But your signature should be like a formal closing, your name, and then usually your title or company you're working for. If you aren't working for a company and you don't specifically have a title, you at least want your first and last name. Now, if we go ahead, there are 2 examples. There's a sample 1 and a sample 2 email. Now, both have some aspects that are good and some aspects that need to be fixed. So one thing, just right off the bat, I'm not going to go through all of these. It's important that you guys are able to locate some of the problems and things that you could fix for each one. But the first thing that was not brought up in the last section is the font. It is important that you write in a normal font when writing in a professional email. You'll notice that this email in particular is written somewhat similar to a text message with these Z's or excess letters. It's important that you do not write in a text conversational format when you're writing a professional email. It's the same way that you might text your friends differently than you would text your boss or a coworker even. So it's important that you're able to switch between the conversation depending upon who you're speaking to. The second one, notice if you got this email, this looks like way too much. If I received this email, I would be upset because the font is so small and it looks like it's full of way too much information. Something like this almost seems like they needed to call me rather than email me because it seems like there's a lot of information that I have to interpret. So when you're writing an email, you want to make sure that you're to the point. That's what's really important. And you want to make sure that it's user and reader friendly. If someone opens it and it looks like this and your font's super small, they're not going to want to go ahead and finish reading it. And when you're writing an email, that's important that it's key to make sure that it is reader friendly.